What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with Chronicles episode 7. Now, once again, we have almost a standalone event episode, and this, I was debating on making its own standalone video outside of the series, but this was a very significant event in the series that almost immediately followed the bonfire event. So these two episodes, 6 and 7 back to back, are pretty packed with some interesting information. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you do. Smash follow on Instagram at @theGBLN. I'm so close to 25K, guys. Hit follow. Go follow me on there. Join the other 24,000 of you motherfuckers who already follow me, and let's get lit on Instagram. Links in the description. Without further ado, let's dive right into this episode, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to preface this by saying a couple things. First off, the woman that this episode's about, we're going to call her Emily. She's not a common character in really any of my past videos. I also am aware that she watches all my videos, so she's probably going to see this. So if you're out there, stop acting a fool. Either way, let's dive right into it. So to give a little backstory to how this event unfolded and how I knew this girl, we're going to call her Emily, which has already been established. Emily's someone who I met through a friend of mine. She's basically a friend of a friend, and I'd been to her house before. I'd even met this girl's mom, but it was kind of like a weird thing because her mom was like cool with us smoking. So like one of my first times meeting her, like her mom was just there, and like it wasn't like she introduced me to her mom. It's like, oh, her mom was just there. And the even weirder thing was that this girl really liked my videos, right? And she pulls, like, her mom is asking me what I do for a living when I, like, met her one of the first times. And she pulls up my videos in front of her mom, and they're watching my videos with me in the living room. And I'm just sitting there uncomfortable as fuck. I'm like, damn, dude, this is really making me uncomfortable. I don't like this. I didn't sign up for this at all. But either way, so to kind of preface and give you guys a little backstory of how I knew this girl, she wasn't a complete stranger. Like, I'd been to her house. I was comfortable with her. I knew her, right? So, like, it wasn't like a weird thing to go hang out with her, hit her up late at night, ask to smoke or whatever, right? Now, leading up to this event, I hadn't seen or talked to her in months. I don't even remember when that incident that I just described you guys took place, because it took place a very long time ago. Like, I only know, like, very broad, like, you know, dates on those events. This event, however, will be burned into my brain for a very long time. I don't think I'm ever going to forget this day. So it was pretty late at night. It was like 1 a.m, right? And I'm kicking it with my boy Kevin. We have jack shit to do, and we have no blunts. But we had weed, right? We just had no blunts. And Kevin had not turned 21 yet, so we couldn't go get blunts. It's 21 in my area to get tobacco. However, it turns out that Emily had a bong. Now, I don't exactly remember what led up to us getting there, because that was not what captivated my mind by the end of the night. By the end of the night, my mind was in a different place. However, I believe, to the best of my recollection, I'm pretty sure that I swiped up on her story and asked her to smoke. And she said she had a bong. I knew she had a bong, right? I'd been to her house before, smoked with her before, so I knew she had a bong, right? I even used to buy weed off this girl, right? So, like, I knew she had a piece. So I hit her up. I'm like, yo, you want to smoke? It's pretty late at night, like 1 a.m. She's like, yeah, sure. I'm like, okay, do you mind if I'm with my buddy Kevin? She's like, yeah, no big deal. I don't know if she'd ever met Kevin before. I think she'd, like, met him when she served me a couple times, but, like, never, like, hung out with him. And up to this point, I hadn't spoken to her in a long time, right? Like, we weren't on, like, a consistent texting basis even. Like, it was just I knew of this girl, and, like, when we'd see each other places, we'd say hello, and I'd grab off her every now and then, right? But we didn't hang out that much, right? So I go over there. She's sitting in her garage. It's late at night. All fine and dandy. Nothing's wrong yet. Now, for those of you guys who haven't watched Chronicles episode 2, or was it 2 or 3? The one where I mentioned Peter. Go back and watch that before you watch this episode, because there's a startling amount of similarities here. Now, we get to Emily's house, and we sit down. You know, I say what's good. I get situated. She's got these little, like, lawn chairs in her garage, right? And she opts to sit on the floor. I'm like, hey, okay, if you want to offer us the seats, that's very nice of you. Thank you, you know? So we're sitting in these lawn chairs, me and Kevin. She had 2 of them set up for us. Really nice, right? And then she sits on the floor. She's got her bong. We're just kind of like sitting in a circle. She's got a little speaker out there. I don't remember if she was playing music or not, but she had her speaker out there. So we start getting situated, packing up the bong. I had a little bit of coke on me as well. Now, things got really uncomfortable almost immediately after I started smoking. She starts, and because I'd already dealt with Peter, I picked up on what was happening very quickly. Because, like, the Peter scenario was fresh off my mind. Like, not even a month ago, the Peter thing occurred. So I picked up on what was going on pretty quickly, right? So she starts talking almost immediately. Really fucking quickly. And the first thing she starts saying is how men are evil and they're out to get her. And she goes on this really big rant about men. And me and Kevin are just kind of like looking at each other like, yo, is she about to like stab us? Because we're 2 men. Like she invited 2 guys over to complain about guys. Like, hey, hold up. I didn't sign up for that, you know? But I pick up on the fact as she's like ranting here that she's making no sense. Like, it's not like at first I thought, oh, maybe something just happened and she had a bad night. Like, maybe she's just shaken up about something. Whatever, she can vent. Hey, we'll listen, whatever. We're just chilling, trying to smoke, you know? No big deal. But as the rambling kind of went on, it got more incoherent. And it just out of control to the point where by the end of her conversation about men, by the time she moved on to the next topic, I didn't even remember what the topic was. I was just sitting there and nodding, thinking to myself, yo, what the fuck did I just walk into? Because I had no idea that... Now, I chalked it up to she was having some sort of manic episode, right? That's what it sounded like. But I wasn't in contact with her nearly enough to know that she was having one of these prior to going over there. And I wasn't really in contact with anyone like in her circle that much to know this either. Like I had no idea this was going on with her. So we basically just walked into a bomb. That's what this entire night was. We walked into a bomb. So I bust out my little container, right? I had about an 8-ball of blow in it, a little bit less. I put a little bit on my phone, start chopping up. I offer Kevin some. I offer Emily some too, right? Now, I'm going to get a bunch of comments being like, why would you do that when she's acting like this? But you have to remember, I was not sober either at this time, okay? So my judgment was not where it needed to be. I offer her some. She turns it down. I'm like, okay, you know, just let me know if you change your mind. Offers always available, you know? No biggie, right? I'm like, hey, more Coke for us. Let's get it, you know? So things are still weird, but they're not like hostile yet, right? Things are just weird. So I'm trying to chill out, you know, just focus on smoking and making sure that we're all chill until me and Kevin got to head out. And I wasn't trying to look for a way out yet. I was just like, okay, she's obviously having some mental issues right now, but she, you know, she's not doing anything to us yet, right? Like nothing's happened, so we're chilling. Now the night proceeds. We're smoking, chatting a little bit. As the night goes on, I do blow a couple more times. Kevin does blow a couple more times. One of the times, the last time that night that I went to go do blow, I reached in my pockets and I couldn't find it. I had my fanny pack with me. I couldn't find it, right? I'm looking everywhere for this Coke, right? I just can't find it. Emily gets up, looks around. Her garage is really messy. There's like a workbench in there. I remember that pretty vividly. A bunch of stuff that was in there, right? And she is going around, looking around. I'm like, oh, cool. Okay, she's looking too. So we're all looking, can't find anything. I'm not suspicious. Like, this girl turned down Coke, so I never thought she took it, right? I was just confused as to where it went because, A, I lose a lot of shit, right? So I figured it's just under like a piece of paper, like a piece of wood or something. It's just under something. Like, it slipped out of my pocket and I didn't hear it fall or some shit, right? So eventually we try like getting up, retracing our steps, and we're looking everywhere and we just can't find it, right? So I'm like, yo, maybe we can go look in my car. Even though like I knew it probably wasn't in my car, I was like, maybe we could go look in my car. Because I remember going to my car to grab my bud, right? So I'm like, all right, you know, let's go do that. So we go out on the lawn. Kevin comes out with me. Emily comes out with me. I ask Emily to hold the flashlight, right? I had a flashlight on my phone. I asked her to hold it and just help us look for it, right? I don't know what I said or did or what caused this like just switch to flip in her head, But she went from like helping us look and being, nice and helpful and all that to just shutting down and thinking that I was accusing her of taking the blow. Mind her, those words never left my mouth. I never asked to run her pockets. She ran her own pockets after she got to her shutdown point, right? But prior to that, I literally just asked her to help me look for it, like I would ask anyone else in the vicinity who had the means to help me look for it. I asked Kevin to help too. Didn't accuse him of stealing it. Asked her to help. Didn't accuse her of shit. I just wanted help finding my shit, right? Because it would make it faster for all of us. So she kind of just shuts the fuck down, right? She sits down on her garage floor and this chick starts like crying. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? And she's like, just find your shit and get out. And she's like, I didn't take it. And like, I keep asking her like, yo, like, I'm not accusing you of shit. I'm just asking for help. And you doing this, refusing to help and trying to kick me out makes me think that you took it, right? Now, granted, I'm no mental health expert, so that may not have been the best way to handle the scenario. But that's the best way I could think of. And those words did not sit well with her. After I mentioned that her acting like this was making me think that she might have had something to do with it, shit hit the fucking industrial fan. I'm talking batshit fucking insane. It progressively spiraled from her getting defensive to her getting aggressive, right? I'm still looking for the coke. At this point, I'm like in the back corner of her garage with a flashlight, looking in places I never even went to see if she put it there or something. Because now I'm suspicious. I'm like, yo, why is she acting like this? And in the back of my head, I knew that she still had some mental thing going on. Some sort of manic episode must have been happening to cause her to act like this. But at the same time, that same mental state, could have also caused her to take the coke. At this point, I'm like, yo, I just want my shit back. Like, even if she took it, like, just fucking hand it to me. Like, I get it, okay? You're not in the best mental state, but, like, just give it back. Hey, we're Gucci, whatever, shit happens. But she's freaking the fuck out. And I'm telling her over and over, like, listen, I'm not accusing you. And she starts telling me that I'm threatening her without me threatening her. And the whole thing of her saying men are out to get her in the beginning when we first got there got tied back into this scenario, where now she was making us out to be the bad guys, me and Kevin. And Kevin is just bewildered. And me and Kevin are out on the lawn while she's like sitting in the garage. And Kevin's like, dude, what the fuck is up with her? Like, what is her deal? And I'm like, bro, I don't like, we got a Peter number 2. Like, we got a Peter V2 right now, dude. Like, we got to play this smooth, dude, because she's tweaking the fuck out, right? So, me and Kevin go back in her garage. We're like, all right, we can't find it. Like, we need to find it, right? Eventually, we're just sitting there. I'm like, all right, let's sit down, take a break from looking, maybe smoke a bowl. We'll fucking find it later, right? We'll look again a little later. It's getting late. At this point, we've been looking for like an hour and a half. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning, if I remember correctly at this point, right? I didn't end up getting home till the sun was up, if that gives you an idea of what the fuck was bracking on this night, right? So, either way, as we sit back down, she just kind of sits in silence and she's like crying. And I don't want to say anything because I don't know what the fuck to say, right? Like, I've tried all I could to help calm her down and realize that she's not the enemy here. I'm just asking for help. But her, like, staunch refusal to help me is making her the enemy. And I can't do anything about it, right? Like, I can't help it, right? If I keep asking her to just literally hold a flashlight and just lift somebody, like, help me look. Like, I'm not going in her house. I'm not invading her privacy. I'm just like, yo, I lost something. Can you help me look for it? And she's like, no way. And trying to kick us out. That makes me think she took it, right? So nevertheless, at this point, I still don't have my blow. I still don't. I have no idea what the fuck to do. I look at her and I'm like, yo, listen, if you took the shit, like, you can just give it back. Like, it's not, like, it's no biggie. Like, if you took the shit, just hand it back. I'm not going to fucking do anything. She stands up and starts fucking yelling, dude. She's like, I didn't take shit. I didn't do shit. Why are you blaming me? I'm like, yo, what the fuck? So I get up and get out of my chair, right? Now I'm looking around her garage to try to see if I could see any of the shit. Now this is according to Kevin's account because I didn't see this happen. I only got the reaction. Kevin put his arms under mine and held my arms by the shoulders and pulled me back. And at first I didn't realize why. It came as a complete surprise. I was like, yo, what the fuck? What I didn't realize is while I was looking around her garage and not looking at her, she lunged at me with a fucking toothbrush. A toothbrush. I don't know where she got this from. Who has a toothbrush stock in their garage? I have no idea where this toothbrush came from. But nevertheless, he lunged at me with a toothbrush. And Kevin saw that and pulled me back. I was like, hey. At first I was so confused and I kind of like almost like threw him off me or like pushed him off me. I was like, yo, what are you doing, dude? Like, what is this? But then I noticed she was like an inch away from me and she was literally screaming while she did this. Like she let out like a battle roar while she went for me with the toothbrush. She had like a, and I'm like, oh shit. And it took me a minute to even process what just happened because it caught me so off guard that my brain like did not believe that I just got lunged at with a toothbrush in this chick's garage. I'm like, yo, what? Like there's no fucking way she just went for me. So Kevin just pulls me all the way out of the garage. Kevin's like, all right, fuck it, we're leaving. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, I didn't even say anything at first. I was so in shock. And Kevin, like, pulls me out of the garage. And eventually we're standing on a driveway. She closes her garage, right? I'm like, yo, at least we're fucking out of there. Like, at this point, dude, keep the fucking 8-ball. Fuck that. But I realized we had a bigger issue really quickly. My car keys were in her garage. And I needed those car keys. Now, Kevin lived close by. We could have walked back to Kevin's house, took his car. But fuck that. I'm not leaving my car in front of this chick's house. I don't trust this chick anymore. So there's no way I'm leaving my car in front of her house, right? Like, no chance. So I get the flashlight out and I'm like, yo, dude, maybe we left it in the car, on her lawn. Let's just hope it's not in her garage. So we're looking all around on her lawn and shit. And as we're looking, we hear her like throwing shit and screaming in her garage, right? Like we hear her yelling and we're like, yo, dude, like the cops are going to get called or some shit. Like there's no way her parents aren't awake by now, dude. Like the cops are going to get called. Because, like, at first it was like, okay, we're in the garage and it's open. Maybe her parents won't come out. But now, like, she's in the house doing this and we can hear it from outside. Like, if we can hear it, her parents can hear it. So we're in trouble. We got to go fast. Now, I'm looking around on her porch, and not her porch, but her, like, lawn and her driveway. And her front door opens and her dad comes out. And he's like, who the hell are you? I'm like a deer in headlights. I'm like, yo, dude, like, I don't even know if her dad knows what's going on. I don't even know if I was supposed to be here. Like, this is the worst scenario ever because on top of that, her dad's going to take his daughter's word over mine. And his daughter's word seems to be invalid right now because she's having a fucking panic attack. So she's going to say I tried to, like, shoot her or some shit. When in reality, she just came at me with a toothbrush for asking her to help me look for my stuff, right? So I'm like, oh, yeah, I was just hanging out with Emily, and I can't find my car keys. I didn't bring up anything about the coke. I was like, well, she didn't even do any, so I don't have to bring that up. At this point, just give me my keys, right? And immediately, he's just like, do you have any idea, like, what's going on with her? And we have this conversation, right? This part I'm not going to get too detailed about because it's personal and stuff. But nevertheless, I talked to her dad. Things turned out better than they expected. It went smoothly. He wasn't like mad at me or anything. And he was actually really helpful. He helped me find my keys, look around and stuff. It took forever to find them. They were like in the most non-logical spot ever. But we found them eventually, chatted a little bit more. And by this point, I could still hear Emily was inside, right? I could still hear her like freaking out inside. And I guess her parents just kept her inside. But me and her dad chatted a little bit. At this point, it was sunrise. I dipped the fuck out of there as soon as I got my keys. I was like, yo, fuck the coke. I don't give a shit about the 8-ball. To this day, I don't know what happened to that 8-ball, dude. She might have enjoyed it. It might have just been genuinely lost. I don't know, and I don't care, dude. Good riddance. Fuck that shit. Just get me out of that scenario. So, nevertheless, I finally get my keys. Get the fuck out of there, dude. I kid you not. This was like the most just what the fuck event of the entire Coke Chronicles. Because everything else was precedented to an extent, right? This was the most unprecedented what the fuck event in this entire series. And I only tell this story because it will become a point in future videos. It's like a reference point to the mental health issues that I've encountered from other people and even myself during drug use throughout this series. You know, the reason that I bring up a lot of these mental health things is because this was probably the hardest binge I've ever gone on, and a lot of those mental health effects really became prevalent as a lot of the people around me tried to, I don't want to say tried to keep up with me, but I was handing out Coke like candy, and kids were taking it, and not a ton of them were hanging, if that makes sense. So either way, this one wasn't even caused by Coke. This was just a fucking perfect example of what could be caused by Coke, and I had to slang it in there because it was just a what the fuck ass event. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It's getting long, so I gotta cut it here. See you guys in the next one. Peace.